Hey guys, welcome back. It's Patrick Robertson here at Momentous Building to teach you guys another lesson on construction to help you provide some value and understand what's going on in your house when the contractor's working. We here at Momentous Building firmly believe in helping the homeowner being educated so that way they know what's going on in their home when their contractor's working. Today, we're going to be talking about the basics of roofs and the structures on them, so that way when the contractor's talking, when he gives you your proposal, you understand exactly what you're getting. Construction can be challenging, but we're here to make it simple. So, as always, if you liked us, if you like this video, if you found any value, please give us a like, share, and subscribe so we can help other homeowners really grow this message, help educate them, and help spread the wonderful knowledge that can be found in construction. So let's get started off. Your roof. If you're a homeowner, eventually you're probably going to have to go through a roof replacement. Roofs nowadays can last up to 50 years. However, storm damage and these different things can tear them up in 20, 30, and 40. Depending on what type of roof you have, you might have yearly ongoing maintenance. Slate roofs need maintenance every couple years. Asphalt roofs, less so, but their lifespan is less as well. Now, proper installation is going to guarantee you that lifetime warranty that you might see on some of these products. However, there's still ongoing maintenance with that. The key, though, to get that longevity in your roof is to have the job done right from the beginning. So, we're going to create a subsequent video about the specific components on how a roof should be installed, but for now, let's just get into the basics of what a roof actually entails. So, on your roof, you got a few different components. The biggest one is going to be your rakes. These are the vertical end pieces that actually travel up the side of the roof. These are the members where less water flows off them during a rainstorm because they usually flow downstream as these are on an angle. So there's different components on that. However, they all flow down to the flat portion, which we call eaves. And the eaves is where all of your gutters are located. The eaves is where all the rain runs off, all the snow builds up at the bottom, and these different items, and that's the majority where all the problems go wrong is on the eaves because there's a lot of details involved there. Not properly drained in these different things, massive rotting and decaying of the roof members can happen all too quickly. The next member is the hips of the roof, and the hip of the roof is the portion of the roof coming down where two sides meet on an outside angle. We're going to show you a picture of that right here. And as you can see, that outside angle is called the hip. The hip goes down on a roof, and it is where 290 degrees of your house meet on an angle, flowing down to two eaves. This part of the roof is very, very important to be properly shingled with the proper products. Then we are going to flow into the ridges on the roof. The ridges on the roof are the top of the roof. The ridges are where the two members of the roof meet. There's a few different interesting things that go on there. Many times it's not vented properly, or it is not nailed, or the ridge caps are not nailed down properly. In either case, short lifespans can happen because of this. But on these ridges, what happens here is that we need a ridge vent, so that way the air can escape. And then you need a ridge cap to actually protect from the snow and the water that will flow down from the top. These will help disperse the water down onto the roof itself. Then we have the valleys. The valleys can be quite complicated. They are the members where the inside of the corners of your roof meet. They are commonly seen with copper valleys, as it is the best method, and there's even a best practice, which would be a W-flanged copper valley that really help with that water channeling down. And these valleys are found at all of your dormers, where all of your different abutments of your house meet. Basically, they're the interior corners of your roof that can be found in many of the locations. They can also be found on angles where the chimneys and walls meet your house. However, that requires some different details and flashing that we will get into in later videos. And then we can flow into the roof to walls. Now, sometimes your house has a second story and a first story, where the first story is bigger than the second story. Now what you're going to have is you're going to have your wall to your second story here, and then a lower roof section here. And right here is that gap with the wall to roof. And that area is very, very important to be flashed properly, so that way you can maintain that longevity. As you can imagine, a lot of moisture and water will build up there. Another portion where the walls meet the roof is where you have a dormer, typically, and the roof structure. So you have your dormer right here. Excuse me, let's do this. You have your dormer right here, and your roof structure here, and this is that roof to wall running up the side of the roof. Right here, this is where the step flashing gets installed, and it is also commonly where siding is rotted away the fastest, and that's because siding was installed too close to the actual roofing itself. This is a typical spot where it should be installed 2 inches off the roof. Then we're going to flow down to some of the other minor components of the roof, and those are and these are more of the molding sides of it, and that is the fascias. The fascias are the flat members that are on the bottom of the eaves and breaks, where there's a portion of wood, usually either it's a 1x10 or 1x12, that gives that flat front face on it. Underneath it is what is called the soffit. Now some people actually think that the soffit is this whole member right here. However, it's not. The soffit is only this bottom section right here. And in the soffit, it's very common to have a soffit vent. The soffit vent is very, very important to allow the attic space to vent out. Now, caveat here, you can build a home with not needing soffit vents if it is completely airtight. Now, this is a different type of construction. It is more of a new era construction, and it's not even being done all the time due to the cost of it, but it does pay off in the long run. There's different building methods that we can get into, but some of the terms being thrown out there is monopoly house. Long story short, 99% of the time your home will have a soffit and a soffit vent associated with it, which should always be installed. So that's going to be your members right there. The soffits they're always on the eave part of your roof. They can be on the rake section of your roof, although some homes have very narrow depths for their rakes, so they're not always installed there. Then, an additional component that is sometimes installed is called a freeze board. Now, the freeze board is the spacing between the siding on the bottom and the soffit, and it's that member right here. It's really a decorative piece nowadays, as it was important back in the day, but now it provides a decorative piece which does look absolutely amazing. However, it's less of a roofing component and more of a molding component. Finally, the drip edge. The drip edge is very, very important. It is found at the very, very tip of the roof eaves. And what the drip edge does is exactly the name. It helps the water drip off the edge rather than backbending up underneath the roofing and onto the sheathing and causing some damage. Especially in the winter, with freezing and thawing, the water can actually travel up the roof and cause substantial damage. So the drip edge is very important to protect that edge. Lastly, there is a bunch of miscellaneous flashing that happens on your roof, whether that's around your vents, such as a plumbing vent, an exhaust vent for a fan, chimneys, and these various different details that should all be done. We talked about step flashing around dormers, and then also the flashing from the wall to roof structure. Flashing is very, very important and should always be done in copper, especially on the roof for longevity purposes. It should always be welded together or properly overlapped. And what that does is that the copper or just metal flashing extends the longevity of the roof by protecting those joints. The joints are very, very important to make sure that no water gets in, because those are the common areas where roofs leak. Improper flashing is definitely a no-no, and we see it far too often done incorrectly. So there was a lot of information. This was a very heavily content video. I suggest reviewing it. We're going to have some We're going to have each one of these sections in the contents table so you guys can kind of jump around to take notes, or if you just need to review it after you get a proposal and to understand what's going on here. I hope the diagrams help that we threw up on the screen, as the visual representation really helps. We're going to keep that diagram right there in a link on the bottom to really help you guys out to understand everything that's going on. Now, we really hope this provided you guys some value. Like I said, we're going to come out with a subsequent video of this, really going into what are the important parts to make sure you have on a proposal for a roof and what they'll look like, so that way when the roof does get installed, you know what you're looking for, you know what the proposal is supposed to say, and you're getting the right job to make sure that the duration of you get the full duration and lifespan of your roof. With that being said, guys, Patrick Robertson here at Momentus Building. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next one.